Welcome back, everybody, to the European LCS Summer Finals. We've got a Game 5 on our hands for the crown here in Europe as we see Origen, after fighting back in that last game, deciding what they are going to do in Game 5. Whew. What a crazy game. If OG wins Game 5, they go to Worlds. And sadly enough for you, you're still rooting for Fnatic, I take it. But let's talk about that last game.
I don't even know where to begin. This is where two teams with zero engage comes into the matches and they go and they're literally just chasing each other around. I will say Origen played it way better. When they're at least retreating, they would take something on the way out, and Fnatic the whole time was still really focused on getting the fight, and OG was just like, we can run really fast.
It's like I have to formally apologize because I shook your hand saying congratulations for going to Worlds because I thought Fnatic had it. They had such a huge advantage, and I've never seen them lose an advantage in that kind of a way. They did a lot of mistakes because even though there was no engage on both sides, they had the poke, but poke kind of fades down as the Tristana gets stronger.
The biggest problem with the way that they were playing poke was obviously no front line, means the later that game goes into Trist Lulu, good luck staying alive. He didn't even need the last whisper in the end of it. Let's just go full attack speed from everybody on his team. Let's just get the AD carry fed. And, you know, it was interesting to see the very experienced players on the team, you know, XPeke, so as everybody say, Niels, you're the new guy, you have to carry this game. We're giving everything away for you, Niels, and it worked out in the end, and Niels certainly put on a great performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the double PD was really questionable because he's going to lose overall DPS for sure, but this makes him unhittable by skill shots, and that was his job. He bought Ma so he couldn't get one shot by Victor, and then 2 movement speed items, technically 3 with boots, so he couldn't get hit by the other skill shots. Like, how do you actually kill that? Like, Reckless can't touch that.
I feel like Nils showed that he had massive cannonballs, right? Speaking of cannonballs, the Gangplank, even though, like I mentioned in the first game they played, Fizz is the good pick into the Gangplank. But even though Gangplank fell so far behind early on, he still was running around, ganking and banking, and he still got fed. And still, like, even though Gangplank lost, I think the point still stands that he's open.
You don't have to defend yourself. It's fine. I do want to look at, of course, the Fizz pick is something actually that you called out after Game 1 as well, that it should come into play. I feel like OG has overcome something really big here with SOAS getting so far behind, and then they got caught, but they didn't run before they could walk. They waited and they retreated. On the other side, Fnatic, this says that I think this loss sends more than the Game 1 loss. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of important because what OG did in the beginning is they did have a lead from the Elise ganks, and they kind of threw it by chasing into Fnatic. And that's actually what Fnatic did in Game 1 to, Game 2 to come back. And so this was OG actually like losing, technically throwing their lead, and then learning on the fly, like, oh, we actually don't have to chase. Eventually, they're gonna have to chase into us. And they kind of just waited out that until, like, you know, the Lulu bomb hit and Trish just ran around.
Yeah. I still feel Fnatic through that game, which is really scary because Fnatic, I always think of Fnatic as the mental boom, the powerhouse of mental fortitude, right? But coming into this last game, I really felt like they kind of collapsed in this one.
I think they did, and you know, it was because Origen threw a little bit of a different style at them, a curveball. This series has been so much about the AD carries when it comes to picks and bans. You know, we've seen the Kog'Maw, the Kalista, the Sivir banned all the time, and these 2 AD carries in this game couldn't have been more different. Reckless against Niels. Reckless, you look at it, 26.5% of his team damage in Game 4, which, you know, is fairly standard for an AD carry. When you look at Niels being a single carry, 51.4% of his team's damage. If that isn't a lot of eggs in one basket, I don't know what is. I feel like maybe Lulu might be a bit of an option here because as high priority as Trist is, I think without the amount of supports that were on the side of Origen, it's not going to go the same way.
I'm thinking like the Lulu went Ardent Sensor.
Yeah.
I was expecting Zeke's Harboring and maybe like a Banner of Command or something, like full support, because
it just
like packages. Niels, please, do this
at
for me.
least we know he doesn't have like an ego problem. He's really like, let me sit down real quick, and I'm going to WEU, and you do all the work, and let's win, right?
Just to illustrate how the conversations went here, after picks and bans, you guys were like, all right, Fnatic has this, then the Ardent Sensor, yep, Fnatic has this, then the Nashor's Tooth Fizz, yep, Fnatic has this. So just to illustrate how much you guys were thrown off as well by that.
I'm sorry. I'm
this
really
guy
sorry.
jinxed it.
It's Game 5. Do you dare to call it?
No.
No?
Not anymore. Like,
All
I
right.
feel too bad. I feel too bad.
Well, but that's also
much.
the best feeling then going into this fifth game. We do not know who's going to take it. The teams are ready, so let's send it over to the casters for the last pick and ban of the summer finals.
Thank you very much, Shocks, and the rest of the analyst desk. One more time, into the breach we go. Onto the rift we will load. And this time it is Fnatic that will be on the blue side. Gangplank, it has shown to be beatable. Huni has missed a few combos here or there. We can talk about build order, we can talk about item order, and we also saw how important Tristana and Lulu are. So what do teams adjust and prioritize in this game?
I think for the reason you just mentioned here with Huni not playing at the same level as Source when it comes to the Gangplank means that Origin could potentially leave it open and say, do you want to first pick it, then go for it. Seeing as Riven will be open for Fnatic, it shouldn't be an option for Origin to lock in. Again, we talk about how they want to avoid that matchup, but they can also just play it safe, ban away the Gangplank and say, you know what, we don't want to risk anything.
We go into these hyper-aggressive top laners though, Elise, first 2 games we weren't quite sure what the priority in it, wasn't really working out, but then the last 2 games, early game Elise had so much impact, shutting Soaz down one game, shutting down Huni. The other, Reno was even forced to pick that Nidalee. Wasn't really a fan of it overall, personally.
I really like this Shen ban from Origin. Again, it prevents Fnatic from taking that Shen Fizz combo and have the double flex pick, which was so tough for Origin to deal with. So instead, they're setting up for potential Fizz pick. Shen also does well into Fizz in the laning phase. So they're basically telling Fnatic, if you want to first pick that Gangplank, expect the same kind of matchup. And yes, Huni won on farm because he had the early push advantage, but he got all in again and again and again. It was very easy for Soaz to set it up and win those trades in the early game and get really far ahead. Elise ban coming because we've seen how important these jungle matchups are in the early game.
I think Fnatic should definitely consider banning Braum here. They've had a lot of issues with that champion, just the added defensive layer, disengage peel.
But then you leave open the Varus, which has been a problem for them when it comes to the last pick, because they like to run these no-engage comps. So it's tricky. You know, you really want to ban more, but you got to say, okay, which kind of comps do we like to run? What can counter it? We have seen it once from Origin. They have the last pick, so they stick to the same and keep it safe. We can say for Fnatic, Gangplank should not be a ban in my opinion.
Siva, then?
Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be it.
I like this from Origin.
First pick, then. The man on your screen, the Holo Monster. Will he be blind picking GP with the expectation of Fizz?
And that's a big mental message you send as well. It's like, okay, this champion was very highly regarded. You played it last game, well, you can take it again if you so want. Origin obviously might not want to take it too early because Riven is indeed still up, so that will be interesting. The first time we could actually see that matchup come out on screen here.
I think Origin is going to go Fizz in the first rotation, almost no matter what Fnatic picks over here, just because that would give them the matchup or avoid that Riven matchup against the Gangplank. And we have seen how it can be a flex pick for them as well.
Orange, you can also go for early Victor rotation, leave the counter pick, 5th pick for Soaz, save mid laner, but then you get the Azir on Febiven.
And that's why we might just see Origin say, you know what, we take the Azir again, like in game 3, when they were on the red side, because Azir can push the Victor in the early game at least. But then we have seen Origin when they fell back to their Corki pick, and it was very mid-game focused. If they made mistakes in the early game, there was really no way back. Tristana is still available for both teams. Tristana Azir would be a strong combo for Origin. Save that Fizz for later. And again, nobody wants to go for GP just yet because they know what the other team can pick into it.
So 45 seconds before Origin decide what they want to lock in. The Lulu lost its first 2 games in the series, then won the next 2 games. For Fnatic, it is still a flex pick as well. So they have the tools available to them, and it was the flexibility in picks that helped Fnatic win a game early in the day.
But they see the Lulu here, and with Sivir being banned as the last ban for Origin, what we normally see from Fnatic then is they seem to prioritize putting the Lulu on top side, which means they like an engage tool. And that means for Origin, if they start running, once again, these protect Niels compositions with a lot of disengage versus very little engage from Fnatic, we might get the same kind of game we just saw before here where nobody can really get to the backline, and then the buffed up hyper carry is going to win the game.
Yeah, Origin saying, we lost the Lulu, so we got the Lulu Light. Pick the Janna instead, protect. Niels on this Tristana. Let's see what else they build around him. Likely that the counter pick is going to go to Soaz for the 5th pick though, and he needs to definitely make that work.
I think Azir would be a fantastic pick for Origin in the next rotation, so you have even more zone control coming in, for this Tristana here. They're obviously denying the potential of Fnatic running a massive protect the AD carry comp. They can still do Lulu Olaf if they want to, and then your engage, Reynova can play, of course, the Olaf in the jungle now that Elise is being banned away. And we've seen it before, but it requires him to have a strong early game because he needs to get some items under his belt before he really becomes a threat.
Played it 5 times before. It's his second most played champion behind Rek'Sai. So Fnatic have a significant amount of experience with Olaf, which is something the other teams that have tried to run him in the top lane do not have. So we're going to see if that works out. Once again, Reckless will be on Corki, just sort of the next tier of pick with all of the bans. And for Origin, we've theorized Azir, we've discussed Victor.
Gragas Azir is a rotation that I could easily see Origin pick up here. Will be enough though. Will be very hard to play. Need to do things right. But you can at least shut off the access when the follow-up when Olaf storms in and just try and one-shot him.
And especially because we don't get the same early game pressure coming from Reynova on an Olaf compared to, let's say, an Elise. So Gragas makes perfect sense for that fantastic scaling to the late game. Adds a small element of engage as well. And just overall zone out one target, flash body slam, set that one up for Nils and then Peke, because the consistent damage output coming from both Peke and Nils in this game is going to be so insanely high.
Now does Febiven go for Victor, claim the Lulu, or pick a potential Ahri just to put more assassination pressure, get around that wall, just dash in, don't let Origin scale up to this late game, just punish these picks early. Could do that, could do the same thing with Twisted Fate to an extent. Nullify mid lane, teleport top, snowball, wherever that Olaf ends up.
And what will Yellow Star run as well? Alistar is available if he wants to go that route. Could do a more engaged support or disengage. I'm hoping it won't be Tahm Kench.
We can see Fnatic adapting to what Origin is building. So all of this, again, it's going back and forth between both teams. Origin see Lulu first pick, say, okay, you're probably going to lag engage. So we start building a comp that can protect the backline really effective, and we try and play the same game. And now Fnatic is trying to adapt to it.
Yeah, they see the Lulu, they also steal the Tristana, say, okay, we don't want that combination of champions together. That means we get a Tristana composition. What do? We add a defensive support. And they layer onto that, and Fnatic says, well, you can defend all you want. We're just going to blow you up in flames. Annie Rumble looking to be locked in. And now Soas needs to get a good counter pick.
Yeah, this here for Fnatic right now is basically saying early to mid game, that's where we want to win. They are so heavy on magic damage, but they have very, very good spikes across the board from obviously Corki, from the Rumble up and top, even Annie support, they engage around Dragon. So Fnatic really looking here to snowball that early to mid game in team fights with what they've been building. You can do Gangplank into Rumble if you are Soas though, but you gotta remember they won't give you enough time to get 2 items fully completed.
And I feel like Fnatic have to do that because everything on Origin just screams scaling, scaling, scaling. I like the laning matchups already. We'll see what Soas decides to lock in. He's holding on to the TP Ignite, so was thinking Fizz.
Yeah, but it's so risky to do Fizz into Rumble, even after changes here where you can dodge some of the damage. Oh, so yeah, you can dodge some of the damage from Rumble now when you're like sitting on your pole with Trickster. Still, the matchup is very tricky for him, and that's one of the reasons Fnatic could take that Rumble as a blind pick as well. And we are gonna see very heavy focus on scaling from Origin. If they do reach the late game, they'll be more than fine. But getting there against what Fnatic has built up, now there is engaged on the side. Yellowstar on Annie, Olaf smacking the back line, and the spikes of Corki Rumble. Scary first 30 minutes for Origin in this game.
Definitely scary. If we get standard lanes, you could actually see it really losing potential matchups. Not necessarily losing, but being pushed in. There's a great possibility that Rumble, with some support of Olaf, can push in the Gangplank. Lulu early could push in the Azir if she plays a little over her boundaries. Depends how aggressive they really want to go.
Gonna see a lot of even lanes at least that can very quickly snowball in one way. The top lane here, Gragas and of course the Gangplank together against a melee matchup, double melee on the side of Fnatic. That can go very wrong for Fnatic when they engage in these fights here. We have seen the passive into barrel into passive from a Gangplank take care of all these melee matchups very effectively.
And this is the first time that Yellow Stars played Annie all split long. In what will be the very last game in the European LCS, Daylor and Ducky shaking hands in front of the Summer Split Championship Trophy. That first seed to the World Championships, the easier draw into groups, is on the line, and a spot for Origin for the last time from the Hovid Arena in Stockholm, Sweden. Give the teams your support. Let them know who you think will be crowned the European Summer Split champions.
So we talked about this in the Champ Select. A lot of mind games coming in, trying to counter what compositions you were expecting to see when we saw the first pick, when we saw the next rotation coming in from Origin. The big change is that Fnatic finally runs engage.
And one of the things that you do gain from separating this Lulu from the Tristana is that you can actually polymorph her later on in the game, making it very hard for her to deal the damage once she goes in aggressively for one of these jumps. So definitely keep an eye on that ability. Very crucial, very key, shutting some of these picks down. Expecke, he's running Cleanse, I'm running Ignite, so definitely don't want to get Tibbers in the mid lane on those roams.
Looks like Fnatic wants to have an early invade, trying to get down some deep vision, spot where the waves are going, or where the lanes are going from Origin. They're just going to mirror it down. You see here Mythi, most likely going to just see what's going on. Doesn't place any wards just yet, so very defensive start for Origin in this game.
And that's a change from earlier in the series as well, where it was Origin making most of the early game.
Looks like the crowd wants Fnatic Gen to win.
Well, they've traded games this entire series. There's only one left. So Yellow Star gonna move himself back into lane. It looks like Origin have initiated the lane swap, if I'm reading their movements correctly, and we'll find out who's gonna come out ahead, because Fnatic have been shown up just a little bit this series in the early game when the lane swaps were on Origin's terms.
Yeah, and Origin is a team we at least highlighted would benefit more from standard lanes. When we look at the two teams coming into this match, and we have seen whenever it was standard, very, very close early game. So Origin is on the top side. Yellowstar, of course, checking the blue buff to make sure he can push people away. He's gonna find both Source and Amazing and just trying to push them towards the top side of the map.
This gives one extra camp potentially to Origin. Now Star gets an easy extra few gold pieces. Miffy's moving the same. He just wants to count the jungle camps, keep track of stuff, maybe just move in mid, help Pekka do something, because he's really not useful in the top lane at all. If anything, he is counterproductive because he will be soaking up experience. So he might just walk up mid, shield once, or nado if he hasn't skilled anything yet.
Seems like both AD carries are pushing the waves early on. So we're gonna see the fast push here, as we see so often in Europe, honestly. We see top laner come top. He wants to get the wave, he wants to bounce back towards him. What we see from Origin normally is, as we've highlighted before, they give or they share between Nils and Source. So that should mean that Nils can get a pickaxe, unless, of course, might be very close to it.
Yes, Smite coming up, don't worry, guys. That goes down. Jungle is just continue to jungle. It's no longer the 4v0, it's a 3v0 lane swap rotation. They're saying we're strong enough to dive you if you show up anyways.
No misplays yet, in contrast to the earlier lane swaps. Both teams reading it effectively, except Raynov is joining.
Yeah, Fnatic has to make it as a 4-man. They've cleaned the entire jungle already. They haven't resorted back to their initial jungle. They were one camp down there. That's why making this a 4-man push, trying just to match the tower killing speed that Tristana offers. This should mean a small advantage on Amazing, especially. Let's see if we can use that later on with ganks.
And it's very key for Origin that they get this fast push going as well, because you don't really want to have that Janna or Source taking a few hits. Thought he had it with the last explosion from Nils.
That wave.
That's not gonna bounce.
That's a mistake.
This is a big, big problem now, because Sahuni's gonna get the wave down here. But this means for Source, he basically has one wave left to push out, and then he knows the bottom lane from Fnatic is gonna show up and force him away. Huni gets the tower down bottom and a massive freeze.
And he took two tower shots on top of that, so really, really big mistake there. Coming out of Origin, didn't think about, explosion from Tristana, damaging the minion. Didn't think about minions leaving the tower range, so the armor going up, suddenly not being enough to take down that tower, so a bit of a slip up.
And they can't afford to get slowed down when it comes to scaling in towards late game, when you have 3 carries who all need a ton of farm, compared to what we have on the side of Fnatic, where it's like basically one item spike across the board. And then we can start fighting around Dragon's objectives, Early ones, obviously, nobody wants to waste time. Nobody wants to lose any experience or farm. But Huni got the wave shoving down to himself. All he needs to worry about now is if Origin pushes in the wave, they can set up a TP dive with Source, but that requires Amazing to be on the bottom side, so they're clearly not looking for it.
So we'll keep our eye on Amazing to see whether or not they want to go for those dives. We did see Reckless moving up top lane. Looks like he's pushed out that wave that was pushing towards him, so electing not to go for any sort of freeze, but there is support down bottom. Rainova and Yellow Star for Huni.
Yeah, Fnatic reading the situation, saying we're gonna get a farm advantage on Huni because this wave was already bouncing back. So as long as we make sure he cannot get tower dived by Origin, he will be fine and get an advantage. So that's why they're sitting 2 guys down to very quickly secure it. And also, Corki does so well with solo experience in the early game. Get that early level 6. Might even chase towards Origin.
Well, that's a flash for Flash. Huni gets 2 for his own. We do see that they're going to push in. Wow, they're chasing real far for this. Exhaust is on Huni. Niels may go down for first blood, and it's Rainover that picks it up. Soaz has teleported in. He's got himself one with a parley. Now Murphy is in trouble. The reckless swing comes down.
Into the
He's trying to bring them
Mithy.
onto the powder kick, and he's going to stay alive for a few seconds longer. The flame splitter comes out. Soaz will get himself a double kill. Now it's top laners on top laners. And we do see another powder kick is up. It's going to tick down.
Minions.
Look at
Overheating.
the overheat damage. Triple
Oh, Solas got it.
The top lane outplays have been something that have defined this entire series.
And beautiful dancing from Mithy as well. Staying alive, pathing back into the barrel, baiting his enemies in there. Fnatic were looking so confident having the jump, but they got counter teleported on. Let's watch that again.
Look here, notice how amazing he's showing himself on the top side. So Fnatic know, okay, we can go for this. We have 3 members down here. It will, at best, be a 3 versus 3. They try to get Nils down as fast as possible. Exhaust comes in from Mithy, and he does manage to get good damage. And now it's up to Soaz to clean house and Mithy. Notice how he's cutting into the barrel as well, just to get that extra damage from Soaz. Every single point of damage matters in such a close and early trade. And then in the very end, Soaz gets him down.
Looked tricky, but then yeah, it's the orange and it's K, and then the minions help him. And then the style points on the flash, of course.
Wow, let's see. Everybody invested a ton of summoner spells. His teleport advantage for a little while on Huni. He picked himself up a needlessly large rod. Will Fnatic be able to use that to claw back a little bit of the deficit they find themselves in? Let's get stunned up. Well, Reckless is going to get some trades down. But one thing that is important to note, the late game carry with 3 early kills, that's going to accelerate his power.
Remember though, Tristana, Janna are pushing onto the tower. There's CC on Annie. And there's teleport potential on Huni, because he still has his teleport available. Soaz had to use his, so let's see if Fnatic force the same play on Origin. And now we see Amazing just shadowing Soaz in the lane. That's all we need to do. Get that gangplank to late game, because he has carried before and he can carry again.
He's done that the entire early game. He went top, made sure the big wave pushing in from Reckless was going over to Soaz. Soaz didn't even manage to get a whole lot of it, because then he TP'd bot and he picked up 3 kills. Pretty good investment, at least, for Soaz.
I think that was worth.
And it's just so key when you have these late game scaling carries. If you get such a strong early start, we might just see Fnatic reach a point where they have a very small window they will be stronger before the late game items start coming in for Origin. There will still be a point in the mid game with Corki and Rumble where Fnatic really will shine, and they gotta use it then.
Rainover is going to set himself up. The equalizer comes down. This is the 2v2 up top. Powder kick and cannon barrage. Huni wants to get out of the barrage. The flash body slam, or body slam flash as it is known. Amazing. He's going to get one. Soaz will not be able to escape Rainover. And the shutdown goal goes to the 3-1-0 Olaf.
Shutdown goal on Rainover. Composition built around him. A little bit of miscommunication though. Soaz knows this matchup so well that he's not afraid to turn on the aggressive. However, Amazing had to use his flash to turn him out, so a little bit out of sync there. Yeah, such confident play coming out of Soaz. He's definitely in his element here. Best of 5 series, done it before.
Rainover as well, throwing his axe max range basically. Didn't connect it, so suddenly that cooldown is not available for him, and that's so key for Olaf in the early game when it comes to these 2v2 fights. So it meant they end up trading even, but mid lane is still a problem because this Azir is just constantly shoving in the wave, and we've highlighted this early in the series, how good he is at taking down towers with this early Nash's build. Proc your W on the tower as well, and you can just keep doing it over and over. And seeing as all the actions in the side lanes, I mean, nothing stops Peke.
Yeah. For another game this series, all of the action is in the side lanes. Once Fnatic do start to group up, and do start to multiply the strength of their team composition, that's when even that small deficit will start being made up. The whimsy, the wild growth on a fairly fed, fairly tanky Rainover could be game-changing around the next big objective fight.
And we saw Fabian walk over to get that blue buff, handed to him on a silver platter by Rainover, but that mid lane tower, 25% right now. Obviously, Fnatic, Origin know that Rainover's in the area because they saw the handoff on the blue. You don't need to see it happening. And I saw Reynor run a ward later on as well, then he walked top lane. So complete information here on the side of Origin. SOAS just need to stay safe. It's a gold lead, 10 gold extra.
Donated award from Reynova. Amazing's stepping over one of Fnatic. So both junglers in the same quadrant of the map. While the duo lanes continue to duke it out down bottom. Reckless went back for an early Doran's, making a Phage. We see Niels is going to start stacking up that Avarice Blade. And again, Reynova is just looking for options.
Fnatic's looking to set up a dive here in the mid lane. Pekka does have flash ready, ulti as well, but Reynova
Wow.
going in first.
I mean, wasn't that hard to predict that that was going to happen. That guy. Pretty forced play by Fnatic yet again. And they're starting to get afraid of SOAS. Nobody really wants to deal with him at this point. Yes, he only has 43 CS, but the kills that he acquired and just the sheer amount of damage output, in addition to the mastery of the champion that he has shown so far, gives him an edge.
And Huni has to go for early Outlaws to get some armor in this lane with the arm guard here, so he's gonna skip out on some of the early magic penetration. Will hurt him when it comes to his overall damage in the first few fights. Is trading really effective right here though, but he needs to be careful when he all-ins.
Equalizer's coming out. There is a flash from Huni. He's not going to follow SOAS. Will be happy just trading Equalizer for flash. And that's a lot of AP early on. Huni's burning SOAS alive. Febiven looking for the glitter launch trade and actually loses that one quite convincingly.
A good trade for him, and that's very key because Pekka can keep shoving in the wave. If Febiven is forced back to base, mid tower can very quickly drop. Just call in Amazing, two-man, you take it down, and that opens up for Origin. Makes it a little bit easier to get some of the deeper wards in and then prevent this engage coming from Fnatic. We know it's going to happen. There is an Annie with Tippers. There is the Olaf being sped up by a Lulu. Those engages will happen. It's about spotting them in time.
Equalizer is down. We might see still an explosive team fight though. Yellow Star. Finger on the trigger. Peke pushing out mid. Again, he always is the one that pushes out mid first, and that's exemplified in the HP of the respective towers here in the mid lane.
And that can be very important for a potential dragon fight. If he can move first while Febiven is stuck mid lane, it basically gives Origin two options. You bait out the dragon fight, and then you keep Pekka pushing mid. If Febiven leaves, you just take the mid tower. If Febiven stays, then Pekka is going to move down first. And a crucial part of the combo from Fnatic, speeding up Olaf, is then gone because Febiven is stuck at the tower.
He now zoning off SOAS. Has to wait for the barrel to come up. Good zone control by SOAS, managed to walk in. Lost a couple of creeps under the tower, but overall, going pretty even in CS here if he picks up all this farm.
Yeah, keeping himself relevant. That Hourglass was completed by Huni on his last back. And we did see Origin posturing around the dragon. They didn't commit to it, the threat of Reignover. And I think that's important to note. For Fnatic's team composition and the lower rate of scaling on their side, multiple dragons could be something that will help out.
Two guys now, or two junglers on the top side. They're going in for it.
There's the equalizer. They're going to try focus SOAS. SOAS is going to just get burned alive. Reignover's running amok. Yellow Star rocks up. Incinerate, disintegrated. It's SOAS that gets killed. They will lose a tower though. Can Fnatic reply up top?
So Fnatic coordinating the gank here, saying Reignover go top lane. I'm going to follow as they support. Yellow Star roams up there, so 3v2 at best for Fnatic. They gave up that mid lane because the tower was already so low. And they're just trying to respond, saying, we're not going to sit back and wait. We're going to make a play ourselves and trade towers.
Origin reply with after taking mid lane tower to get deep vision in the bot side of the jungle. Now they can either choose to dive bot lane or go for the dragon. Seems the choice at hand is the dragon right now.
I would have loved to see Pekka and Amazing though just rush straight to that bottom lane. Doesn't seem like it's necessary because the tower is already low. Nils will take it, they get the dragon, so they basically get everything on the bottom side.
Fnatic react again though, they say, okay, we can't get to our bottom side in time, so we keep pushing on the top side. They're threatening with the dive right here, zoning off SOAS again. Tier 2 tower on this siege. They should be able to hold that, connecting some kegs.
We'll see some support from Origin. Niels was able to back. Mithy's moving up. So Origin get themselves two towers, a dragon, at the cost of SOAS's life and the top outer turret. Maintain a marginal gold lead. But very importantly, I think it is Origin that is somewhat in control of the tempo of the game. They're quite comfortable with the headroom their team composition has to grow.
Yeah, let's not forget that Origin is definitely fine just scaling into the mid to late game. If you look at these picks, Tristana and Azir in the late game, that alone on a 2 damage composition is enough. But then you add a Gangplank to that, and so now you still have disengaged Peel and a tank in Gragas and Janna. It becomes very hard for Fnatic to beat this later on in the game.
It's a very good all-rounded teamfight comp for Origin. The only problem, as we have highlighted, is of course the early game. But by the fact that you have two pushing lanes, mid lane and a bottom lane here, Tristan and Jen have been able just to shove the wave in constantly, avoid the engage, and then of course Azir winning that mid lane matchup has meant that they've gotten early towers. That is of course boosting the income of all these players here, making sure now that you are not suddenly falling behind. You're not forced into mid-game fights around the dragon as your only option to survive, because those you won't win with the comp Fnatic is running.
And with Yellowstar at the helm, he's got himself those Moby boots. He's got level 7 on Annie. He was involved in that top lane fight a few minutes ago. I want to see what he can do with Tibbers. Niels is surrounded. There's no way out from this. Aggressive Valkyrie from Reckless. Niels is going to look for more. Rocket jumps out, and he may deny the assist. It's Febivin that gets the kill credit. That'll help out the small CS disparity.
Look
Niels,
at the minimap.
A little bit out of position.
Look at the minimap. Source has just moved in a position where he's technically a threat towards the tower of Fnatic. So Niels has no business overextending so far up in his own lane. You need at least 2 lanes pushing at once if you want to go for these very deep, not invades, but deep pushes where you want to at least apply some side lane pressure. Otherwise, you just got to back away. Because otherwise, this will happen, and there's no cross map to get.
Yeah, and it ruins the entire premise and the setup of a split push. The reason it works so efficiently is that because if you get caught in one side, you can punish the other. But if not everything is set in stone yet, not every move is made, then you just give up a free kill and you allow people to move to the bot lane. Huni right now picking up that massive wave. Fnatic rotating the mid, back at the cleanse.
That was the Tibbers I was looking for. Rainover's already used his ultimate, and the undertow not particularly effective. Origin have the numbers to defend, and Fnatic have to back away.
So forcing 2 summoners. Didn't manage to get the kill. Didn't use flash Tibbers either for Yellowstar, just down with the bear. And we kind of then take a step back, because we need that backup for Fnatic to really look for more fights. And Origin are happy saying, you know what? This allows now we can go 1-3-1. Look here, Niels is on the top side. This is what they do so well. Saying there's no threat at the moment. Split up, guys. Farm 3 lanes at once. Get even some jungle camps where you're greedy mid laner. And power farm towards 2 item spike where your combo or comp really starts kicking in.
Huni though did get the time of day. The Horn of Gondor. And on the 5th day. Look west, east, where is it coming from? Doesn't really matter now. No, Origin split pushing. Trying to keep the pressure on Fnatic, but they can't afford to overextend one more time, because every time they do, Huni is picking up these massive side waves. Has now finished that zone, has got another NLR picked up, so he's building towards more AP. No magic pen though.
And then Niels learned. He didn't overextend, he listened to you, Crepo. One wave got pushed and he was like, yeah, I'm out. Not gonna risk anything like before here. Fnatic though, they spotted Source down here. Reno is on his way with Moby Boots and Ghost.
Barrel face check though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big chunk, but in a 2v1, this should be enough
got a
for
TP
a
out?
kill. Soaz, he's moving away, the teleport's channeling. There's not going to be enough damage, and Soaz makes it out! Harry Houdini in the house.
Done it before, he's doing it again. Source sitting down the bottom lane, realizing there's no way out except for teleporting.
But now, big advantage for Fnatic in the teleport race. We've seen roams, we've seen map plays, but Fnatic have to make use of their mid-game spike, or they're at risk of being outscaled.
And Dragon coming 1 minute 30. That means Origin cannot send anyone to the top side and push it out. So what Fnatic can do now is shove Huni to the top side. Let him freely push in near this tier 2 tower, because nothing is going to stop him if Origin wants to fight for that Dragon. Source has to be on the bottom side without his global.
Spec has to be careful too. Still a couple of seconds left on that cooldown on Cleanse. Right now the threat of Flash Tibbers could be lethal, so he has to play passive. So Fnatic have all the pressure in the game they need to push in Origin, set up that Baron play, and then use the teleport to their advantage. Origin, however, have the liberty, the time, and the state of the game to just yield that advantage. Niels looking to assassinate Reckless.
It's a risky one into a Trinity Force core.
And teleport, of course.
Yeah, Wisely says, you know what, guys? Not for me. I think you just got spotted all the way up on top side. Origin can safely give up this dragon. You don't have to worry about it because you got the first one, so there's no 5 dragons very quickly coming in for Fnatic. I think it's safer for them to say, you know what, guys? Let's back away. Let's not risk this fight, because Fnatic's comp right now is really at a strong point.
Fnatic are going to group up in mid before they look for the dragon. The tower's going to be focused, the kegs have popped, and there's the equalizer. Rainover does not care about your divide, and he runs amok. It's the equalizer that gets the kill. A defensive explosive cast as Reckless finds a second. That will be another tower to Fnatic. They regain the gold lead, and they can peel backwards for dragon number 1.
We just praised Fnatic's comp and how strong it is at this point in the game. Instantly, they just go for the dive. They don't care about no Shurima shuffle. From expected, they go right through it. They get the kill, get the dragon. Origin trying to respond on top side, though Nils was still caught up there because we saw him before, trying to set up some crazy one-on-one, which would never work for him.
No, and now it's going to be a 2-on-1. Amazing's coming from the side lane, but Niels is going to get caught out. Buster shot, a few more hits. The Wild Growth will interrupt the distance. The kicks are going to get popped, but Amazing comes down. He brings the barrel on Hooney's head. Soaz may set up another kick, but it's Amazing that's going to get another kill, and they turn around what looked to be a free kill on Niels.
Rest of Fnatic was on the bottom side doing the dragon. So Nils, in the end, gets his fight. The one he was looking for before, the one that technically cost his team members life. Look here, top side, Tristana sitting doing absolutely nothing, spotted by Fnatic. They have a ton of engage this time around, not like the last few games where they've been dancing around with Origin, and they just activated instantly.
Yeah, very good decisive play by Fnatic, netting them a tower, a dragon, a little overreach in the top lane, trying to shut down Niels. Still have bad nightmares from last game. Yellow Star on that Annie. Involved in a lot more early kills here for Fnatic, and I think that's definitely a good thing for them. From a mindset point of view, just snowballing the early game, trying to shut down Origin. However, there is a timer on that composition.
And Fnatic are still technically behind in gold, ever so slightly. As we've gone past 20 minutes, Febiven's second item, Luden's Echo. Hooney's second item, Rylai's. Still no Sork Shoes. Still no Haunting Guys. Very committed to, I need Equalizer Burst, or I need Equalizer Damage, and Utility Slow now.
So utility he's aiming for. He's aiming to be a bit of a frontliner together with this Olaf diving in, knowing that the rest of the team can follow as well. And technically the only thing that will go wrong or can go wrong for Fnatic in these mid-game fights is if they don't coordinate Olaf diving in with the Lulu speed up properly, because then suddenly the backline for them is very, very squishy and the damage of Origin is going to be insane.
Fnatic's composition kind of feels like a one-way in, no way out type of deal. If you don't kill them under the tower, you don't succeed with the dive, you will get cleaned up. Especially, you know, with the resets, the zero repetitive damage, Gangplank chasing it out with these barrels. But so far, when they pull the trigger, they have been successful.
Would really prefer Deathcap first, or second, sorry, for Febiven. Before the Luden's Echo, it's a fine third item for him. But Deathcap just does so much more, seeing as it adds extra AP to your shield,
those wards,
to your Whimsy, and Fnatic starting the Baron. They've done this before, plays a ping. They have enough vision to see Origin move in and then just back away. But bottom lane, this one-on-one has gone horribly wrong.
And that gold lead is stretching for Origin. Pink ward in the pit. They'll clear out Origin's ward, and Fnatic threatening Baron, but there's enough members of Origin around to dissuade them. We're very early in the game, and Reignover, not a huge amount of armor to speak of right now.
Honestly, I think if you're playing against Fnatic, it might be wise just investing in 2 Scrying Orbs. All these vision-based Barons that you can then just cancel out if you spot them and just make them take so much damage. Because they don't have a tank there. If they do commit to the Baron for a while, they go very, very low. Use that to your advantage. Use that split push from Soaz.
Niels may be in trouble. Cannon Barrage is up. No.
Disengage.
That's Buster Shot and Cannon Barrage for any potential fight that happens in the next minute to minute and a half.
And Fnatic really needs that fight because the scaling of Origin, as we highlight again and again and again, and they're getting the farm on the carries, they've gotten the kills. So Fnatic, they need to get a fight going. Otherwise, Origin is just going to slowly draw the game out and then go to late game once again.
And expecting one of the few champions that can actually clear pink wards in Baron Pit from outside. Putting a soldier in and whacking away. Actually, thematically, stylistically, very good, strong counter pick to Fnatic because you can't afford to walk all the way around because Yellow Star is obviously ready with Flash Tibbers. So, pink ward cleared, ward placed. So, unless Fnatic find another pink or sweeper on cooldown, Baron threat is gone again. And in the meanwhile, Soaz is playing split push on the bot lane.
Exactly. Fnatic, they have to keep going back to this Baron and just started to get that fight because you can't really siege on the Azir and their static shift Tristana. They're gonna clear those waves so effectively. Either you go for tower dive or you force that fight at this Baron, and we can see how both teams are staying around it, but nobody's stopping Soaz.
The ward that was behind that red buff has sat there for ages. Ghost and Ragnarok, Reignover's running in. Tippers comes down and Amazing. That's a good equalizer. That's gonna prevent Expected getting in. The jungler is down. Soaz has not given up on the split push. He's looking at the inhibitor turrets. Level 13, got a BF sword and pickaxe. He's gonna shred through this objective while Fnatic look to Baron.
Remember, his passive works on the tower, so he keeps resetting it to get extra damage. He takes it down very fast. Baron is alive. Tibbers is down.
Cannon barrage is fired. Fnatic are
It's a
going
TP.
slowly. Here comes Peke. The Emperor's Divide will be very important in the pit, but it's placed a little awkwardly. Baron secured by Fnatic. They maintain an even gold stand. Huni's gone golden, but he may be the sacrificial top laner.
Fair flash.
He will be. Peke is going to be able to get a kill. Reckless is going to Valk over the wall, and Soaz, he did TP in. He did not get the tower, and it's Fnatic that get Baron on 3.
They dropped so low in the pit though that Soa said it's not worth it for me to take this bot lane tower. I can join the fight, pick up some kills for my team. Fnatic wisely just tried to disengage. A few members had to be sacrificed, but it is a Baron for them. We're just gonna see it again, how much damage they're taking in the pit.
To be honest, Fnatic, they get away with murder here. Disengage here, yeah, y'all start forcing them out. But that's Shurima, that's Emperor's Divide did nothing. Soaz is at the wrong side of the fight. If only he could just teleport closer to the fight, help the cleanup. He tried to chain the barrels to steal, but yeah, Huni failed flashes, but this could have been so much more for Origin in this matchup, and Fnatic, yeah, they got away with murder.
Shows how difficult it is for Fnatic to keep pushing the advantage unless it is around one of these objectives where they can force a fight. Again, Origin can give up this dragon. They don't have to fight for it. It's only 2 dragons for Fnatic at 26 minutes. You don't care. By the time 5 dragons is an option, your comp has already hit their power. So Origin, give this one up as well, unless Fnatic is splitting up. Huni's on top side, so he might be able to join.
Well, we'll find out. Dragons down to 3,000. There's a lot of vision around Origin's jungle that Fnatic can play with. Look, Soaz is in the jungle up top. No, it's Huni that's teleporting in. Yellow Star's looking for more. Cannon barrage has been channeled. Dragon did not get secured.
They were just buying time for Niels to move up in the mid lane, siege that mid lane tower. Now Origin, you want to go mid. Fnatic says, well, we can't get back in time, so we'll just race straight inhibitors somehow. Start pushing. Who's going to win this race?
Tristana though pushing in, and Origin is sending everyone else back to defend. You have the gangplank here to clear some of those minions. Fnatic have the Baron buff though.
Baron empowered minions, game 5 in the Summer Split Finals, and we have a mini base race on our hands. Reignover gets hurt by those powder kegs, and he's in retreat. But look at Origin in the top right. They've not backed off. There's going to be a kill into Soaz. With Soaz down, the wave clears down. Pekka's in a little bit of trouble. There's a flash forward aggressively. Origin have peeled away. Reckless gets the kill on Pekka. They're looking for Amazing. They won't find him. Niels is still running for his life. Inhibitor's going to drop. The Undertow's killing the minions. And Fnatic, they've got a massive advantage in the final game of summer.
It looked so good for Origin in the start. They were pushing the mid lane and they were defending the waves, but then Soaz ends up dying. Reckless chases on for another one, and suddenly Fnatic break open the base.
And we have to call out Expector right there. That is Zero ultimate was not on point. He could have held that so much longer. He knocked him into the tower. He just completely wasted yet again. And that opened up for Fnatic to take down Soaz.
It did, and a shout out to a viewing party happening in New York City, Madison Square Garden. I hope you're enjoying Game 5, and I hope TSM CLG delivers half as much as this series did.
And look at what Fnatic did before here. They started the dragon and said, you know what, guys, this is not even the objective we want. We just want Origin to come close so we can engage. They give up, or well, they stop the dragon, hard engage or try to onto Origin, didn't manage to get it. Instead, we get this base race because the side lane had already been set up from Fnatic beforehand in the bottom lane. Both teams are so close, and we're still at the time where Fnatic's comp is strong, but time is running out.
Saving grace, however, is that Soaz has been split pushing in the bot lane at multiple times in the game. It has been working out. Iki's strong enough to clear these super minions. Just takes him a little bit more time. OG's composition is still ramping up. Look at Yellow Star. He's looking for the flank. Flash is almost available. Tibbers' follow-up is prepared because Cleanse is down on Expector.
Cannon barrage defensive, not going to do anything really. Fnatic even out the towers now, 6-6. There's one inner turret remaining up top, and it's Febiven that's pushing the lane in. Fnatic only have a 200 gold lead as we're getting to 30 minutes.
Gonna go for another tower though. They have Febiven bringing all the minions. Baron buff is gone. And this time Origin will know where the push is coming, but that can open up for a dive. Look here, Yellow Star and Huni setting up a flank. If Origin moves in to clear the waves, we can just see the engage coming straight away from Fnatic.
Fnatic, there's the movement speed. Look how quickly Reignover can run. He's going to look for more. Huni and Yellow Star threatening on the side lane. This should open up the tower.
This is so smart. If a team has good wave clear, what you need to do is push them away from those waves, away from the tower. So by threatening the flank, they force Origin to step back. And also with Soaz having to deal with super minions on the bottom side, Origin could not defend, and it gives a small goal lead to Fnatic, but they will take everything they can.
And that's fine for tier 2 towers, but however, once Fnatic wants to get into the base, that's when it gets a little rougher. Last game, they got multiple Barons, didn't manage to crack open the egg that was Origin's defense. Eventually, they fell to the late game Tristana. Could see a repeat scenario. Speka shuffles out, gets the makeshift build your own base tower. Reignover used Ghost, that's big, so now he only relies on that speed up from the Whimsy.
Big deal here. Reignover thinking he could get an engage. Instead, though, we might have to wait for Baron to respawn. Fnatic already controls the top side. It's belonged to Fnatic for a long time in this game, and they need to keep that control. Get a Baron fight, get a pick before you take it to make it 100% safe. And that's your way to win this game here. Origin still looking to do exactly the same. 3 items now on Niels. We're gonna get 3rd item for Peke very, very soon. Building a little bit of everything for now.
Problem for Niels is he can't itemize pure offense because he really needs a Quicksilver Sash to get rid of the potential Tibbers or just Hex that's coming out of him. So in addition to that, his enemies are now building armor. So he kind of needs the Last Whisper too. So he needs a lot of items, needs a lot of gold, needs a lot of time. But Fnatic is pressuring.
Origin were able to find the time they needed in the previous game, but they are going to be under way more pressure. 4 pink wards in Fnatic's inventory. Baron is up in 50 seconds, and I'm sure those pink wards are going to be used to regain control of the pit. Look on the mini-map at all of the blue vision wards.
Exactly what you needed this time here. Upgraded trinkets, pink wards, so you take full control when it comes to vision. You have to engage. Flash is ready. Distortion is up for Yellowstar up. He's completed. So he can engage. Oh, Mithy walking by here. And he's going down!
Mithy's dead. Yellowstar gets the kill. Support, the disengage.
Niels.
The safety net is not there. Niels is going to get run down by Fnatic. What trickery can he do? Summoners are available. I don't know if it's worth even using them. Niels has got the Bloodthirster shield. And as predicted, does not. That's 2 quick kills to Fnatic.
So Fnatic now can either go straight for the Baron and say, guys, we got 2 guys dead. Mithy's respawning in 10 seconds. So Baron is the safe option. Peke moving in towards Inhibitor, but realizing he can't really push it down. And we see Huni recalling as well with Teleport. So Baron over to Fnatic. The pink wards paid off.
Yeah, Fnatic's fantastic vision control nets them another objectives. First the jungle from Origin, forcing the face check on Mithy. They find Niels, get the Baron, and are in full control to potentially take game 5 and a ticket to the 1st seed at Worlds.
Exposed Inhibitor in the bottom lane. Teleport available for Huni. Haunting guys completed as well. And as it stands, Fnatic have the tools they need to win. But they have to execute their dives correctly. They can't afford to waste Reignover's Ghost or Reignover's Engage, or they can't afford to miss Tibbers. So a very high pressure situation, despite having the advantage they currently do.
For now, they can avoid a tower, at least, seeing as the bot Inhibitor is open. Aim for it, but you also want to use your Baron buff with these minions to take down the last few towers, where you can stop the wave clear from Origin. So openings for Fnatic, and a lot of damage onto Reckless here.
Yeah, look at that. Niels as well, taking a big number of hits. He does have that QSS if any stuns come out. Tibbers is being held onto. There's no flash from Yellowstar. Reckless is low. He does have some sustain from Blade of the Ruined King.
And right now, Huni is bringing the wave on the bottom side here to apply pressure in at least 2 lanes at once. Yellowstar getting spotted on the side here. No flash yet for him, just about a minute's time. And that is key.
That tower drops. We still have Shurima's Legacy available from Xpeke to pop out a tower in that fight. Just should it break out? Should Fnatic dive too far? So they have to be wary of that damage coming out. Yellowstar is all the way in base, but I don't think Origin is really aware of that.
They don't have the greatest vision outside of their base. You can see Origin really limited to the steps of their inhibitors. Reckless is going to pull the minions from the top lane. And all of Fnatic just peel away from the walls, peel away from the base. Baron timer is about 2/3 completed. So for Fnatic, running out of time for the Baron empowered minions, but they're maintaining map control.
Still waiting for that flash for Yellowstar, but it becomes so tricky now to pick a target. QSS completed for Niels, cleanse for Peke as well. Soaz can eat an orange, so there are a lot of ways for Origin to get out of the stun. but if it just keeps them in place for such a short amount of time, it might mean an axe will connect from Rainova, and then the engage is on the way.
Cannon barrage is down. Fnatic are a little bit split. Huni's holding on to the equalizer. We'll get at least one of those electro harpoons onto Soaz. Rainova does not expend anything more. So ultimate down from Soaz, and the Talisman of Ascension from Yellowstar still has Righteous Glory if he wants to go forward.
What's amazing though, he's looking for a potential body slam flash to punish Peke. Zoning out everybody. Huni is all the way in base, but he still has teleport available, and so far it seems the push has been thwarted.
Fnatic cannot set up any fights without flash on Yellowstar. They just get poked with the long range from Tristana. Is he over there jumping in on Pekka?
Pekka used to cleanse already. Emperor's Divide comes out, but that's not going to stop Rainova or Yellowstar. Tibbers onto Pekka. Yellowstar, the new Fnatic captain, kills the old Fnatic captain. That will give them another inhibitor down. Fnatic have got 38 seconds to punish Origin more. Where will they set their sights? They seem to be peeling for mid lane.
Fnatic had just left the bottom lane, and Pekka felt it was safe to walk out, clear the wave, but we just saw Reckless again and again and again jumping forward, being aggressive here in Sweden. He gets the slowdown, and then suddenly Fnatic can chase, get the kill.
Fnatic setting themselves up. Powder Keg not going to kill the wave, but will do a lot of damage. Equalizer, this time not the greatest. Huni gets bopped forward. He goes golden with the hourglass as the barrage is coming down. Reckless actually gets buster shot to safety as the Howling Gale doesn't find a target. Origin want to chase. Origin want to kill Fnatic, but Origin will just have to be happy defending their mid inhibitor turrets.
Slowly but surely though, Fnatic opening up that base. They got one inhibitor. That's more than they could achieve last game. Mid lane tower chopped. Let's see, halfway. So likely we'll see this game evolve back a couple of steps backwards. Jungle control in the red side from Origin by Fnatic, choking out the vision, forcing the face check, catching somebody off, whether it's Peke, Mithy. Everybody's been caught this series so far. And eventually, Fnatic will want another Baron. And they're fine playing the patient game because yes, Origin is scaling, but we have 3 dragons right now. That could be a potential late game win condition because Reckless as well, he's doing a lot of damage with his build. Very offensive, Corky build. Blade of the Ruined King coming out. Self-sustaining.
And I like that when you have a Lulu to back you up.
Yep.
Again, you need to have enough damage to really be a threat to go even with the Tristana, at least in the mid game and early start of the late game. We obviously know what's going to happen later on for Nils when he starts taking over together with Peke and Soaz.
Fnatic once again setting up the ring of vision control north of the Baron pit. Fnatic a little bit out of position.
Reckless is on the top side, but
Cannon
there's only 4
barrage
guys.
has come down, and Origin, a half-hearted attempt.
Might be another base race.
Unable to find their target though. Reckless has not decided to back. He's continuing to push the top lane. Fnatic are now starting to recall. Look at this. Origin doing the split decisions. They started the recall, they canceled the recall. Origin are now committing to the middle inhibitor.
They got their Seer turret put up behind them here for some safety. Reckless still pushing. Nobody's recalling yet. Fnatic is trying to stop all the recalls, but they have to face check into a bush now.
Origin did get the middle inhibitor, so at least they'll have some respite with super minions, but they have to deal
Reckless
with
needs to get out
2 lanes
now.
of super minions. Reckless gets both objectives and will make it out alive.
It's gonna be so hard for Fnatic, or for Origin rather, to stay afloat right now. They're sinking, and soon Baron will spawn a minute from now, and then suddenly you have 2 waves of super minions pushing in. Mid lane will be pushed in by the remaining Fnatic lineup. Your jungle will be Baron of any wards, and then suddenly fantastic Baron play coming up by Fnatic. Such good vision control overall and pressure.
And still only a 2,000 gold difference between the teams. 20 kills in it, 4 dragons secured. 3rd Baron will be spawning shortly. And Origin, yes, they have to deal with 2 lanes of super minions, but the bottom inhib will spawn relatively soon. And then they just have to push out top, but no more mistakes from either team. 1 failed engage from Fnatic, and their base will go down.
Niels picked up a red buff. That's really, really crucial because many times they catch up some members slightly overextending on the front line. Huni to force him to hourglass with the red buff. Niels can stick to these targets, disengage worst case. He has a lot of damage, but he has to hard carry, and he has less items and less backup to do it this time.
And Fnatic once again hiding in the same bush where they caught Mithy before. Origin, they know we have super minions in our base. we can't walk through so many blind spots in our own jungle to get to this Baron here. Maybe Source want to try and steal it with his ulti, but again, save it for that last team fight, because you know Fnatic is coming. They're gonna knock on the door. You're gonna enter. Well, he's using it anyway.
Secured by Fnatic. We all held our breath there.
Keep your eyes on the Harbinger proc in fights though. And if you finish that item, he can put it on Niels. That's for 8 seconds. He can get up to 50% extra crit. With that build, he will be critting pretty much 85% of the time, roughly.
One more team fight.
70% of the time. Map is hard.
Good enough.
I think it's 9.
Nope, 90% of the time.
90%.
Map is very hard.
90% critical chance when the Harbinger is on Niels. And he has that red buff. I think it may have worn off though. Look at the damage. And onto Reckless and Huni, two of the primary damage dealers from Fnatic.
It really is the threat, and we see Soa is not going for that last Whisper like Huni did, because you already get 60% armor reduction on your barrels, so it doesn't add up. It's not 95%. No, you get a very small amount of, very small DPS increase on those barrels, which is your late game damage. He's delaying it. It's very smart, because he can still almost one-shot a carry from Fnatic with those barrels.
Inhibitor has respawned on the bottom lane, and Fnatic, knowing there's no tower, going to push in. Reynov is very far forward, trying to zone Origin awake. Little Ons was
Niels
good.
took a lot of damage.
Cannon barrages up. Niels has forced to get away. Exhaust him Monsoon. Still up. Reckless is the one that gets hit. Body slam. Flash will not catch Reckless out. But the inhibitor will stand. Equalizer comes down and Rainbow's knocked forward. Rainover goes down. Expector forced to go alive. The Emperor's Divide will force Huni defensively as well, and that is a good divide. It will keep Origin alive. They will kill Huni. Two members of Fnatic are down. Niels rocket jumps backwards. The inhibitor stands, and Fnatic fail the attempt to kill the inhib.
So again, because we have Cleanse, QSS, and Orange, there are so many ways for Origin to stop this engage from happening. Yellowstar goes in, lands a taunt, we pop something to cleanse it, and then start kiting back a little bit, wait for Olaf's ulti to run out, and then re-engage on the side of Origin, and it worked perfectly. 4 dragons for Fnatic though. If they can escape from here, at least they get something.
So has teleported in for this one and gained absolutely nothing.
Was too afraid to face check right there. He had the right idea, I need to stop the dragon, but he really didn't want to die at this point in the game, so kind of wasted his teleport. Rash move there, I so was. Only has teleport advantage yet again. Only one inhibitor remains down though, so only one wave of super minions coming out, and it's getting dangerous and dangerously into the late game here. Niels ramping up.
He got that last Whisper a couple minutes ago. Baron will be respawning soon, but for Niels, for the first time really, he got chunked out at the objective. He cannot afford to take that damage if he wants to clean up team fights with those rocket jump resets.
Let's remember that for Origin, there's more than just Niels this game. Pekka is in here, 4 items completed. He can win a team fight for you. The Gangplank, we've seen the damage. Last game, it was all about Niels. So if he got chunked, the fight was basically over for Origin. Now, looking on the side of Fnatic here, yes, the Olaf gets sped up and can run in, but his late game, he's not that scary, honestly, for the backline of Origin anymore. And then suddenly Corki falls off in terms of damage. The Rumble has a hard time following the Gangplank. Fnatic is the team who cannot afford to make a single mistake in these fights, because then 3 carries on the side of Origin will take you down.
That previous inhib fight may have been enough. Tibbers finds Peke. Peke does not have time. Peke is down. Equalizer burned him through. Rainov is trying to run down Reckless. We are going to see Niels rather. We are going to see the exhaust come out. Glitterlance catches. Undertow catches. Mendy's down. Double kill for Huni. Triple kill for Huni. That's the game. Huni's forced to run away. It's Yellowstar. That is forced. You're going to get him for 4th kill of the fight. Soaz survives, but it does not matter. Fnatic are tearing apart Origin's base. There's 40 seconds on the timer. Fnatic in game 5 of the summer split are going to hilt the Nexus. This is the 5th LCS split victory for Fnatic.
Pekka had no cleanse in that last fight, so Yellowstar, the captain, he found the engager going in.
Fnatic, they're going to finish it. They're going to kill the Nexus, and they're going to Worlds. They will represent Europe as the #1 seed. Incredible sportsmanship from Fnatic. Incredible play from Fnatic. And one more time, Fnatic are your European split champions. Fnatic. That was not the series everybody was expecting.
But the one they were hoping for. We wanted to see a team challenge Fnatic. A team who could beat Fnatic. Show them as well, heading into Worlds, that there's more teams in Europe than just Fnatic. And Origin, they showed up big time.
We've seen some weaknesses exposed in Fnatic over in the split, but we've never seen them punished. Never seen it taken home. But as we said, mental fortitude reigns supreme. Fnatic stayed calm. Eventually take home Game 5, and Yellow Star. Some of these plays he's made in this game, flanking so many times from over the Raptor wall, what it is to flash on Alistar, where it's the Tibbers in the end, keeping track of that cleanse cooldown in such a chaotic game, finding Expected there, opening for that final team kill. Former teammate Expected, just fantastic play, and that's why he was the MVP of the summer split. Fantastic player, and just can't be stated enough how strong of a shot caller he is. He is the best player in Europe.
There's another thing that we need to remind everybody about, and we'll hear about it shortly as well. Fnatic take the #1 seed, H2K, and are guaranteed to represent Europe as the #2 seed from our region. And that means Origin drop down into the regional qualifier. They will have to play 2 best-of-5s. Rocket play Giants, winner plays Origin, winner plays UOL. Last man standing will also book themselves some flights to Paris for the group stage of Worlds.
Origin will be the heavy favorites in that one after showing this performance here. But we got to see both teams showing different play styles. Fnatic in the last one really adapting, needed more engaged. They got it from Yellow Star, the man you could trust.
And Soaz was a man that I personally wanted to watch this series. I wondered how he would contain Huni, how he would deal with Huni, and how the team would play around him. Coming into the series, he played a different champion every single game up until the 5th and final match. 8 champions in 9 games in playoffs. And Soaz demonstrated he can carry. I certainly hope he can do the same for Origin in the regional qualifiers. For now, we're going to hit on stage where Pulse is ready to talk to 2 of Fnatic's league champions.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and what an incredible series. I'm joined by Huni and Reckless from Fnatic. And honestly, I didn't know my heart could take it. I'm sure there's a Pulse pun in there somewhere, but honestly, first off, what was going through your mind when you picked up that pentakill back in those games?
I'll use mine, if that's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's always a special feeling when you get a pentakill, right? Your whole body is shaking, and it just feels great. Like, it's one of the best feelings I've had so far in competitive, so... and, I mean, the pentakill against Unicorns of Love felt special, but I think this one definitely took the prize because, after all, I'm in Sweden and I'm Swedish, so it just feels great. It just really feels good.
Yeah, feeling good. Just adding another one to that stockpile. And Huni, we saw a lot of focus in the top lane on you in this series. How was it like dealing with that?
This series was really hard for me because there was so much new champion, especially there was Gangplank, and then even there's a new Elise patch. So Elise is really good type, and then really strong damage at the same time. He can dive as well. So for me, it was really hard, and then they know how to play 2 versus 2 with jungle sinners. It was really strong. So I think it was really hard for me, but at the same time, our Reckless carry alone. So.
Well, you definitely pulled it back in that series, Huni. And talking about pulling it back, those are the first 2 losses you had in this entire split, Reckless. How was it like dealing with that loss? How was it like adapting from game to game?
Could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so those are the first 2 losses you had in this entire split. How was it like moving from game to game with those losses? Because that's never happened before for you guys.
I mean, we have lost games in scrims, right? So it's not like it's a totally new experience. But of course, it felt a bit different when we actually lost now. But at the same time, I think the losses were pretty clear. Like, it was pretty clear what the problem was, and then we tried to adapt as good as possible while taking into consideration what they could do. And then I think the last game we had a proper draft, and we just played the Fnatic style, right, where we just want a team fight at all times, and then they were crumbling in their base, and then we ended up finishing the game by diving them mid. So I feel like our adaptation was really good, actually, and I think that's mostly due to Daylor doing a very good job.
Yeah, over to Daylor, lots of adaptation from game to game. Now, Huni, for you, I'm very thankful for all the advice you've given me over the split with Riven and Rumble. Now you brought out Gangplank as well. What makes a good Gangplank player?
What makes good Gangplank? Eating 1 million Mandarin? I'm just kidding. This champion is really hard because this champion is melee. At the same time, he doesn't have escape except like eating Mandarin. And his barrels is really hard to contact to each other because it's really pretty short. So I think Gangplanks need to play a lot as well.
Thank you very much, Huni. And last question here for you, Reckless. You're basically done now in Europe, now looking towards Worlds. How far do you think Fnatic can push it? Do you think you can take on the best from the other regions?
I definitely think we can take on the best. But at the same time, I think today we also showcased some weaknesses. But we also got some best of 5 experience, so I don't think it's too bad at all. So I think going into the bootcamp before Worlds, we're going to practice really hard and then come up strong in Paris.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Congratulations once again on that incredible victory and winning the split. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to take a look at that series.
Thank you so much, guys. A quick reminder here for everyone excited for the NA final. The show from Madison Square Garden will begin 15 minutes after we sign off here in Stockholm. Don't go anywhere, but we are going to give this ending of the summer split, the praise it deserves, because what an intense series. First off, congratulations, kind sir. That means that you are going to Worlds.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You didn't see it on camera, but he did a little jig, a little dance.
I did do a dance.
When you got the congratulations earlier, so you don't feel like doing it again?
All right. This is for Fnatic. All right, this is for you guys winning. Good job, and I'm happy for you. This is really embarrassing. There you go.
All right, we're very happy for you, Prolly, but we do have to talk about this game 5 deciding game and who adapted the best. Let's take a look at the picks and bans. Once again, Gangplank again making an entrance, but it did seem that it was a hard choice for SOAS to make. It was the last pick. How do you think everything played out, Yamato?
I think the fact that Fnatic just went back to the roots, because there was an obvious flaw with Origins, like mid-game, they were just stalling. And I felt like it was the correct decision to just take a composition that can just go in there like a bulldozer, and it worked.
And at the same time, that's kind of the counter to Gangplank. Like, he needs time to set up the barrels and to kite. So if you have a team fight that starts and ends with the first engage, like someone dies and the team fight's over, then yeah, Gangplank doesn't have time to set up his barrel. So I really liked the serious talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about that in a second, because I do hear that Pulse is ready on stage for another interview with our winners.
Thank you very much, Shocks. I mean, I couldn't just talk to 2 members of Fnatic. I had to bring the rest of the crew on. And first up, Yellowstar. How was it like dealing with those losses? I spoke to Reckless, but as you as a leader of the team, what did you have to say to your team between those games? What was the adaptations?
The first game was pretty rough for us. We didn't really shut down because we've experienced a lot of best of 5 since we've been together, and with a lot of experience, you know, you basically have to cheer them up, to tell them the right words, and reset the mindset for the next games. And coming into the next games, we just try to play our style and find their weaknesses and exploit them.
Yeah, definitely trying to find those weaknesses. Feathervin, playing in this matchup, how was it like playing against Peke in the middle lane? Did you feel thrown off at all that Origin looked so strong in those early games and getting those conversions into mid-game?
Playing against Peke is actually pretty hard because he really knows well how to play around the vision, how to put pressure on the lane, and I got target banned in a few games, so I was out of my comfort zone. But I still had some champions left to play, so it worked out good.
Yeah, and we saw them, and it worked out very well. And over to you, Rainova. I mean, you came into Fnatic. How's the journey been coming through all the way to the split and then winning the finals here?
Obviously, it feels really good. Like, if I think of like the first season I come to Europe, like it was like really cool experience because I had never experienced like such a lot of like crowds, like watching the games, and then like coming final is like really like important things for pro gamers. And then like now we're going Worlds because we won like 2 finals, so like I feel really happy.
Well, congratulations once again, and just one last one here. Saw you brought out the Tom Kench, and honestly, if you talk to Deficio, he just says it just waddles around. Did you use that as a curveball pick, or do you see a lot of legitimacy in it?
I think the idea behind that, it was Elise, because she's really strong early game, and then if she catches someone off, then they can follow up. So the idea was just to save the guy by eating, and it didn't really work out because we didn't have any engage, and Tristana late game was just a beast, and we had really a lot of troubles to close out the game even though we were ahead. So it didn't work out.
It didn't work out this time. Well, congratulations once again, gentlemen, on winning the championship here. We're going to throw it back over to the analyst desk to take another look at that series.
Well, thank you so much, Pulse, once again, and thank you to the guys for talking to us as well. If you'd had to choose something that you felt like Fnatic excelled in, was it the picks and ban strategy and the adaptation in between? Or decision-making, maybe? Because that's something that we've praised so much before as well.
I think Game 5 was more of the execution. I think the picks and ban strategy was good, going back to what they know. A bit of an unsung hero in the last game. His stat line didn't show it at all times. 4, 6, and 10 was Huni on Rumble, but his equalizers, cutting off escape paths, cutting up the enemy team from Origin, just really solid performance. We know Huni's good on Rumble, but it was something that, you know, we noticed sitting here that didn't seem to be reflected in the scores.
Yeah, like from Fnatic's game 1, where they picked Lulu and kind of left Huni to kind of get the scraps, and then changing from that to like, just kidding, actually like putting wards and resources into his side and like kind of letting him do his carry top thing, I think was really good, because Origin on the other side put the wards on the bot lane side. So Fnatic kind of putting all these resources into Huni actually worked out really well.
I feel like the teams were very evenly matched. But I feel what got them the edge was Huni being clutch, Yellowstar being very clutch. And I feel that was like the thing that pushed them to victory.
Yeah, pushed them to victory, which makes that they can take that trophy home as they salute the crowd on last time. Of course, they'll be meeting a lot of fans after, taking a lot of pictures as well. And we actually have an extra surprise. To celebrate Fnatic's win, the champions played in their final team comp will go on sale, along with another bundle chosen by you. Tweet at LL Esports with your vote for Fnatic's fan favorite player to put their champion pool on sale in games starting tomorrow.
So, for an example, if Yellowstar were to win the fan vote, the bundle could be Janna, Alistair, Shen, and 2 other champions. Maybe we'll see the Tom Kench. Not too sure, but it's an option.
What do you guys? What would you guys want?
I would say Huni, because he has the biggest champion pool. So like efficient strategy.
Value for voting, yeah. But that's very cool, of course, and surprise for you guys. But we also have to crown a player of the series. It's always difficult in series like this, but we were unanimous in the end. And our player of the series here of the final is Reckless. I mean, it was incredibly back and forth, but in some games, the 80 carries absolutely made the difference.
Pentakill.
Pentakill, that of course pushes it over the edge as well.
I mean, I think a lot of it was actually like going far forward in the team fights that Reckless and Niels actually was doing at the same time. That's kind of something that is, at the same time, if it goes wrong, you're going to look really bad. So to be able to do it and make it the right decision is really kind of gutsy to pull off.
I feel the AD carry role is all about understanding everyone's limits. The enemy's limits, your team's limits, and your own limits. And in this game, like, Reckless knew his limits for sure.
especially in the end when it came down to then the Corki pick for him, and he was really aggressive. I remember talking to you a couple of weeks ago where you said Reckless actually fits perfect in this team where he doesn't have to be that aggressive. What a growth here. Maybe it was a crowd behind him as well, but he did jump in a lot of times where I wouldn't expect the Reckless from a year ago to do it.
It's like like the aggressiveness point is more about the lane phase, because Fnatic's strategy usually revolves around the top lane and picking a bot lane that scales into the game. Like later on in the game, it's all about the AD carry skill, and Reckless for sure one of the best AD carries Europe has ever had.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch that pentakill again, because over on Twitter @Boise called out the big moment that helped Fnatic secure their second win over in Game 3. The coast-to-coast pentakill with Trist leapfrogging across the whole map. What a series. Here is your LCS big play of the day.
Wild growth will slow them down. Glitterlance connects as well. And Reckless plus that's a kill to Reckless rather. That's a double. He's looking for more. Kill. That's a triple. He's looking for 4. That's the quadra. He will get it. The reset forward. Looking for a pentakill. We're in Sweden. The Swedish gets a pentakill.
Reckless is on fire today.
Man, there is something oh so satisfying about that sight. Just when you see 5 low health people in front of you, or at least just enough to reset. It was satisfying to watch. I wonder exactly how satisfying that was for Reckless, saying, "Oh, got it, pentakill right here."
Just here in my home, in my home crowd, like easy, not easy, but he did.
It was the Swedish power.
Swedish 5 coming in there.
I'm just so happy. Like in Sweden, we got like so good electronic gymnastics, so good. Well, esports, I mean. What am I saying? Really quality. I have to give Sweden the credit a bit, you know?
Yeah, they get
Definitely.
the props for it.
Sweden has been pretty baller throughout this. There is some business to talk about, Etzo, because with their win today, Fnatic have clinched the first European seed at Worlds 2015. Quite interesting, because we were kind of thinking if OG wins, that means they get the first seed and Fnatic gets the second seed, which would have been interesting to see what the group Fnatic would end up in.
Yes, because then you risk the potential of hitting one of the first seeds from the rest of the regions. You look at LCK, you look at LPL, very scary teams potentially coming out of first. H2K will be taking the second seed, so unfortunately you guys don't 100% dodge those teams. Now it's up to the group draw coming from you guys, but the regional qualifiers is still to be played. It means we can also fill out the rest of the bracket for the regional qualifier as well. Unicorns of Love will be the first seed. Origin will be the second seed. The winner will take the last European spot at the World Championships, but we have to go through Rocket and Giants in the first best of 5 in that regional qualifier.
Like we were talking about how bad the second seed was, imagine the third seed. But anyway, obviously we're going to go to Worlds. We're gunning for him.
We'll see what happens. One last question though before we finish up here as well. I gotta ask it. The European hopes at Worlds. Now Fnatic is definitely locked in a number 1 seed. You, of course, are going to be representing us as well. Can we get a little insight?
We got it.
We got it.
We got it.
HGK
EU better than an A.
Sweep the world. Oh, and in Madison Square Garden, probably. Wow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Probably just became the most hated man in Manhattan right now, I think.
In any case, though, that regional qualifier still has that third place for Worlds up for grabs, and that battle for the final spot at Worlds is going to kick off next Saturday, August 29th, as Roccat are going to take on Giants Gaming in a best of 5 starting there as well. And then C9 Gravity is in there as well. That is a rematch of your summer split tiebreaker, Yamato. I mean, you already said you're going to make it. I mean, we don't have to hear it again.
Easy smack.
Easy smack. We'll see. Our coverage begins at 5 p.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. Pacific from the LCS studio in Berlin. So mark your calendars. And also, if you want to join us live in person for that qualifier, head over to lolesports.com/tickets and be joining us. Well, that's it. We're going to sign off here and make way for the NA LCS crew at New York's Madison Square Garden for their summer finals between Counterlogic Gaming and TSM. That's going to start in just 15 minutes. Thank you, Yamato Cannon and Prolly, for joining us here on the desk on behalf of everyone here at the European LCS. Tak Sverige, thank you for watching, and we'll see you a little further down the road to Worlds 2015.
Welcome to the European LCS Summer Split Finals. Who will you be cheering for?
Fnatic, they're going in.
They've called Pickett. Pickett used his flash already and he's down. Fnatic have got a kill. Reckless is trying to run him down with Whimsy. The explosive cask is going to mix them around. Barrel into barrel for a double barrel kill. For the first time in 3 months, 12 weeks, 6 patches, one team added 1 loss to Fnatic's roster, and it's Origin. Flash Cocoon, the barrels, the boom. Soaz will be going down shortly, but it's going to take Huni. Rainover's looking for more. The red buff is ticking. It's not enough.
What an outplay!
Here. Can we fight them?
Go, fight!
Simmer here. Here.
Gragas. Nice. Push up. Nice going, guys.
Fnatic even out the series 1-1.
Actually, I'm so excited.
Oh, we're in Sweden, by the way.
This guy.
Oh, now you're getting excited.
Yes.
My family is here. We have to win. We cannot lose.
From Mithy, teleport was cancelled by Huni. The max range hook, and that's going to be a kill here. And Reckless plus that. That's a kill to Reckless rather. That's a double. He's looking for more.
Kill.
That's a triple. He's looking for 4.
Bring the way.
The Fnatic go 2-1. Fnatic, if they win, they clinch that first place seed. Chum the Waters is connected. Huni puts down the cannon barrage. The 1v1 happens, and it's Soaz that takes down the overpowered pirate.
Get back. Okay, he flashed. Save. We end the game.
Yes.
Good job, Mios.
Yes! In the 4th game, after 15,000 gold down, they're going to force game 5. Now it's top laners on top laners. And we do see another powder keg is up. It's going to tick down. Look
Overheating.
at the damage.
Soaz got it.
You cheer. I can go.
I can go from my side.
Azir.
I'm moving.
Tristana. No flash. Go Tristana. Oh.
I slower. Go.
We can.
I speed you.
Nice. Holy shit. Yes, boys.
Fnatic in game 5 of the summer split are going to Hill. The Nexus. This is the 5th LCS split victory for Fnatic.